Putin has nothing major to show for the summer offensive so far. And at the current rate of advance, assuming that the Ukrainian lines don't collapse, it would take about 89 years to conquer the entire country, until 2029 to conquer these provinces that he claims to have annexed.
Our sanctions package aimed at the Russian banking sector as well as oil and gas exports has been approved by the EU. President Trump is also threatening sanctions on Russia, but he's given Vladimir Putin, you'll remember, 50 days to agree to a ceasefire. Well, the Russian summer offensive is well underway now. A new data analysis shows the Russian army is advancing at a faster rate than at any other point in the war. Sondre Solstad has been working to map out the intensity of fighting on the front lines and joins us now. Sondre Solstad, welcome to Times Radio. Could you just explain for us how you've mapped this out?
Sure, I can. Happy to be here. So what we've been doing for a couple of years now is to tie specific instances of war activity in Ukraine to data coming in from satellites. And then most recently, we have been mapping this out and looking at the summer offensive. And what we find is that the war is very intense indeed, with some of the heaviest fighting of the entire conflict so far.
Well, you've used a program usually designed to monitor forest fires to do that, haven't you? And you've been able to draw up this picture of what the frontline movements are like. What does it tell you about the progress that Russia feels it's making, and whether Ukraine is making any progress at all or finds itself on the back foot?
I think what it's telling you is two things. First, it's telling you that the Russian army is advancing faster. And especially in the past month or so, they've really sped up the rate at which they are capturing parts of Ukraine. At the same time, Putin has nothing major to show for the summer offensive so far. And at the current rate of advance, assuming that the Ukrainian lines don't collapse, it would take about 89 years to conquer the entire country, until 2029 to conquer these provinces that he claims to have annexed. So it's a story of accelerating progress, but quite slow progress still.
But in 50 days, within 50 days, because that's the deadline he's been given by Donald Trump, how much could Russia achieve during that time, do you think?
I think the most likely outcome is that they don't achieve very much, but it is an uncertain situation. So with the Russians advancing at this accelerated rate, that puts pressure on the Ukrainian lines as they need to withdraw and retrench. So far, no full collapse of the Ukrainian lines looks likely, but it does increase the probability that they'll really break through in some parts of the front. And if they're able to do that, they might be able to size on that and progress very, very quickly, as they did in the very early stages of the invasion. But so far, I think the most likely outcome is that they will continue to gain at an incredible cost to human life some territory, but not break through and achieve anything really great.
Yeah, there are huge casualties on both sides. And when it comes to the Russians, prisoners of war have said that they were told that this was the last push for the last few months. Is that a response to that 50-day deadline, do you think, set out by Donald Trump?
I think not. So they were actually told this before the summer offensive began, and that started about May 1st. What we've been seeing in the data coming in from the front lines and also from maps of zones of control is that they are really sort of sending in man after man, trying to get any advantage, and losing a lot of them in the process. So Mark Rubio recently said that there's about 100,000 Russians killed this year alone, and our numbers actually seem to bear that out.
Yeah, the death and the slaughter and the fighting continues. Are you seeing any signs of any sort of end to it?
I am not, and indeed, this 50-day deadline is worrying for one reason, which is that it does give an incentive for Putin to continue to sort of push for advantage, be it in negotiating position or in case lines freeze in the event of a ceasefire. Looking at the data coming in, I mean, we are monitoring this every day. It's just truly horrendous. If you look at a city like Pokrovsk right now, the satellite essentially show it being on fire, and that's the result of the Russian attacks on the city.
Sondre Solstad, thank you so much for that.
Що, там ідуть три. Єбуть! Давай!
Ні, все.
250, він щось розвертається.